Okay, so I'm going to examine, we looked at complete performance. There is actually a legal concept called partial performance, and there is also a concept, or a case I should say, and this is Sumpter versus Hedges. Now what this is all about is that if somebody does most of the work, then this is 1898. If someone does most of the work, should they receive most of the money? Well, we saw in the earlier case with the shipping example, the case of Cutter versus Powell. In law, by the way, if you have trouble remembering the names, it's a good idea to form an association. So Cutter, you could always remember, you know, Cutty Sark, for example. So regarding partial performance, you cannot impose that on the other party, but when there is partial performance, it is possible to have a voluntary acceptance, and this was really defined in Sumpter versus Hedges, and under that basis you get what's called a quantum merit, which means that you will get some of the payment. Now obviously this would be particularly relevant if someone had done very large amounts of the work, and through circumstances, you know, it's sometimes not possible to get everything exactly as was agreed. You know, it's simply impractical sometimes. So, you know, there has to be some provision for people reaching agreements, and that's really defined in quantum in Sumpter versus Hedges. The law, when you get into this sort of aspect of law gets quite detailed and quite complicated, and you really have to start looking at the exact cases and exactly what they said and the precise conditions. So really these videos are just to give basically an overview to sort of highlight some of the ideas, but these ideas really do need further investigation, because these individual cases all of them are fairly complicated and fairly involved. So the concept there is that partial performance is part of law, but it doesn't apply if the other party is compelled to accept it, and then payment would be on a quantum merit. So that's the concept for today, partial performance, and how that's different to the example that we saw in Cutter. And Sumpter versus Hedges, single way to remember that, you might think hedges and builders. You know, if you're studying law, there are so many cases you have to know, there's several hundred, so you really have to think of ways to remember those case names.